Alrighty, so I wanted to do a quick little lecture on the difference between leadership and management. So, the objectives, what are the differences between the two? What are some characteristics of a good leader and a good manager? And then, really figuring out what is your vision statement, because that will help you kind of determine what kind of leader you're going to be. So, you don't need to write this down, but these are the questions I want you to ask yourself. One, how do you define leadership? What is your interpretation of that word? And based on your experiences, what characteristics do you associate with a good leader? And maybe a not so good leader. Do you see yourself as a leader? Why or why not? How does one become a leader? Is leadership just for managers? And is manager a leader? How do you define management? And then characteristics of a good manager or not so good manager. So when I think about defining leadership, I think about somebody who takes that forward step, who volunteers, who leads or facilitates groups, who isn't necessarily a manager. It's somebody who you can go to with questions. It's somebody that you know is always looking to learn more, or is taking education, or is somebody that when you think of a forerunner, that's the person that your mind goes to. And that's not necessarily a manager. Your manager is somebody that maybe runs the department or is your supervisor. And that person might not necessarily is a leader in that they're, leading, let's say the faculty or the staff, but they're maybe not necessarily that forerunner. Or maybe they are. So really they could be interchangeable, but I really see them as two very, very specific things. And when you are looking at the qualities in a leader and or a manager, really think about, in your experiences, who has been a good manager or leader and who has not been a good manager or leader, and helping that frame how you want to proceed. So, leadership. Leaders motivate people to perform to their full potential over time. The leadership is a set of skills that can be learned. And then many people possess these leadership traits naturally, but they also are gained through experience. A manager is a person responsible for controlling or administrating all or part of the company or department. Many occupational therapy practitioners enter into management positions, but they're not typically prepared. That a manager isn't an inherent skill, as a leader might be more of a ingrained skill. A manager, really, this is somebody that you need to go and learn how to effectively manage a department or a program or a hospital. So there are behaviors directly related to being a leader that helps one be an effective leader. So there could be directive behaviors where the person sets clear expectations, they give specific guidelines, they set guidance for tasks that need to be accomplished. Or somebody could be more supportive, where they show concern and respect, and they look at collaboration and a friendly and supportive environment. And this can go both for leadership as a leader and leadership as a manager. Participative behavior, where again more collaboration with decision making, and then achievement behavior. So there's a setting realistic goals to push and help one excel. Again, a leader, both as a leader singularly and then a leader as a manager. So how to be an exemplary leader and or manager: model the behaviors you would like to see and or you don't want to see. So going back to that initial question, what in your experiences who has been a good or not so good leader or manager. Inspire a shared vision. So again, that collaboration. Challenge the process. So when things are stagnant, it's not necessarily a good thing. So pushing boundaries a little bit in a productive sort of way. Enablement, so enabling others to be part of the process. And encouraging heart, encouraging, that collaborative approach. So when you look at when we look at assessing leadership development, there's a question on the course evaluations that asks you to rank how effective was this course in helping you to develop the student as a leader. And I now really want you to think about that question and think, well, it's less, now that you've sort of defined leadership, can you look at that question in a little bit of a different way? Is it through group work? Is it through some of the dynamic hands-on work that we do? Is it through presentations? Is it through the mentorship that you do with each other? Like, how is your leadership developed? So maybe you think about that question a little bit differently. And then the vision statement. I want you to think about a statement that describes your values, your strengths, your goals, you. And I want you to formulate that vision statement and think about it from that leadership perspective, that management perspective. Who are you in your professional career? So this one I actually want you to do. You don't need to turn it in, but I want you to do it. First sentence, simply state the field you want to work in and the specific job that you want to have. And in that second sentence, explain the reasonings. And this might be a great place that in the resume workshop, we talked about writing a summary at the top of your resume. This is a great place for that vision statement to go. So this is me. I am passionate and excited to facilitate the learning of OT students. I want to continue my growth and skills to become an associate professor. So that is my vision statement. That's where I see myself going in my career. I love this. She never thought of herself as a leader until she slowly became one. So we don't, necessarily set out to be the head of the pack, but, through whatever the process is that gets us where we're going, maybe that's where we end up. And certainly we can substitute she for the he or they pronoun specific to each individual. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope you all have a great day.